Hey there, it's another beautiful day. Let's watch some stuff.
Some people do stupid things. Don't do stupid things. You are about to hear my opinion. Do your own research.
Crocodiles in Indonesia have been filmed pretending to drown to lure people into the water. Let me explain. Obviously, if you get bit by a crocodile, it's one way to ruin your day. Now it looks like they've found a new hunting method to trick you so they can do that exact thing. Basically, what crocodiles are doing in Indonesia, they're sticking their front two legs up out of the water to make it obviously look like a person's in the water drowning. They're laying on their back and submerging the rest of their body under the water, so the only thing you can see is their leg. And obviously, we know what this is because I've seen the video. If you're a person seeing this from a distance, you might think that this is a person drowning, and what would you do? Most likely you'd go into the water to try and help them and stop them from drowning. And obviously if you were to do that in this case, you get a couple £1,000 of bite force on your arm. You're losing limbs. You are not coming home with all four still intact. What makes this even scarier is they've clearly seen a person drowning, then they're trying to recreate the look of that person drowning because they've clearly seen that people come to save them, and this is basically just a dinner bell. Do you know what I mean? This is genuinely terrifying. Crocodiles are evolving before GTA 6. That is absolutely insane. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comments, and make sure you follow in for all the latest news.
That's what I have to say about that. All the scientists are debunking it and going, no, somebody just took a video of a crocodile doing that, and it's like a natural hunting habit of some kind. I don't know exactly. But they took the video and they're like, hey, this is what's going on. And then it went all crazy viral. But I'm sure that if they do that and people do jump in, they may develop a new hunting trend. Because if they learn that, oh, like, hey, remember that time when Charlie went like this and then there was food? Yeah, maybe just stay out of the water all of the time. Just because everything in the water wants to eat you.
When you look at the dollar bill, you see more than just paper. Look closer. Why is there an Egyptian pyramid on American currency? Why Latin phrases? Most people never question it. They're too busy chasing dollars to actually look at one. At the top of the bill, it says, Annuit Coeptis. That means our enterprise is successful. But whose enterprise? At the bottom, Novus Ordo Seclorum, the New World Order. They put it right in front of you, plain as day. This isn't decoration, it's a declaration. Look at the pyramid. 13 layers. Why 13? It's not just about the original colonies. Look closer. 13 stars, 13 stripes, 13 arrows, 13 leaves. This number keeps showing up. Is that just a coincidence? Or is it a hidden code? A symbol of power and control woven into the very fabric of our system. And here's the kicker. See the American shield? That's the true flag. But the US flag? That's a different story. The stripes run horizontal because the United States isn't a country. It's a corporation, a privately owned entity operating under a different set of rules. The symbols, the numbers, the words, it all points to one thing. A system of power hidden in plain sight. The real rulers of the world don't need to hide. They just need to keep you distracted.
This is just a theory, not a fact.
Without doing a whole bunch of research, I'm pretty sure that the 13 represents like the original 13 colonies. But did you know that Batman's on our dollar bill as well? I had to go get a dollar bill so I can show you. Look, okay, see if I can do it. It's in the E. It is Batman. Boom. And then if you turn it over and you go, oh, it's on the back. It's still on the back. It's the Batmobile. Right? There's all kinds of stuff, and you can fold it to make it look like a mushroom cloud. I'm not going to do that, but it can be done, and there's just, yeah, reading too much into things sometimes.
Did you hear about the dragon skull they dug up in Romania? Oh, yeah, they did. So check this out. All of those people who are fans of like The Reign of Fire and all these movies that have dragons in it, you're in for a surprise. So a man by the name of Fantanar is a excavator, and he dug 60 feet down, 20 meters down into a hole in Romania and found this dragon skull. It looks like a dragon skull. Are dragons real? Well, take a little quick peek at this picture. Let's say, I think you'll like it. So this is his discovery. You can see that there is a skull here with a eye hole here and a snout down here and some horns up here. He's in this hole 60 feet deep. He's got the light right there. Now, is this possible? We've got dinosaurs. Of course it's possible. Anything's possible in Romania. Romania dates back thousands of years. Dates back, well, I mean, millions of years if you want to think about just the Earth in general. But think about this for a second. It used to be Transylvania. What was Transylvania known for? Vlad the Impaler. Vlad the Impaler also slayed a dragon. Dragons are notorious for being in all kinds of mythology all across the world. Different communities in different countries came together and talked about dragons. And how could they have talked about dragons from different parts of the world if they didn't exist there? It's not something you go over and just chill out and have a conversation over coffee with. The other thing that's interesting too is that these have been underground right below our feet all this time. Think about all the bones that have been underneath our feet all this time, just waiting to be excavated. What else will we find with this particular excavation? And why hasn't it been made mainstream media? I mean, it really hasn't. If I did a search on Google, I couldn't find any articles or anything. The closest that we come to was 13 years ago when they found some other type of skull that related to dinosaurs or dragons. But this one's interesting. This is a video. So, I don't know. What do you think?
I did the exact same looking into it. Clackety on my Google machines, and all it said was in 2012 when they found a dragon dinosaur in Romania. And that's the only thing that I can find of it as far as a news report. So, I don't know. Let me know what you think. Do you think it's real, or do you think it's just a bunch of hullabaloo? And if you wouldn't mind, while you're down there in the comments section, please hit the like button. And if you haven't already, won't you consider subscribing?
More research I do on these cryptid stories, the more identical they are. Like, these are people who haven't talked to each other, different places in the South. It's always the same thing. So again, we have two hunters who are out and they're camping and they're getting ready to go into the woods the next day. But these are avid woodsmen. They know what different animals sound like. And so they're sitting at the fire the night before. And as they're winding down, they begin to hear against the brush, but what sounds like drumming. It's like boom, pause, boom, pause, and then like rustling. And it's enough to be like, something's like with force hitting something. And so the theory they came up with whispering at the fire is that there's a buck that's like scraping or like maybe hitting its head on the stump. Well, eventually they start to, get up. They're not using flashlights yet. And they're looking for wherever the sound's coming from. And before they see anything, like every other story, they smell something. They're like, there's this smell, just
Bigfoot.
It's like swamp and rotting flesh. And only they used the descriptor. There was like copper, kind of like a blood-like copper-like smell.
Like sucking pennies.
Dude, yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Might have had the Rona. They put a flashlight up and immediately, again, glowing eyes, tall humanoid creature, long arms to the ground. And they freeze in fear. And there's what they describe as this lengthy period of time where they're like, who's moving first? Like, we don't know what to do. And the thing like postures up, like clearly, like we see each other, postures up to run in on him. Dude pulls his gun, fires a shot, hits it, and it lets out. This is like the break in silence. And then just the loudest roar they've ever heard. The guy in the back who didn't shoot yells, "Run." The guy starts scrambling back, and after getting hit, it doesn't stop. It keeps running at him, literally grabs a hold of the dude. The other dude gets in the truck, manages to break away, jumps on the back, and they get in the truck. And the proof that they have is the tailgate of this truck has claw marks through the back of it. But instead of just being like punched, it looks like tinfoil that's been peeled back.
Oh my gosh.
But this thing with glowing red eyes and the brake lights chased them for a quarter mile before giving up the pursuit. Quarter mile, this thing's roaring and running them down a hill. They've never gone back to the woods. This was in 1987. They've never been back.
I mean, that's like the Mothman of just like it chasing them for miles,
They go further to describe what sounds like. They called it, hold on, where is it? Well, they called it a devil, but they ended up, they think in that region of South Carolina, there's like legends of a lizard man, and it fits exactly with other stories where people have reported similar things. It's terrifying, dude.
Dude, cave systems in the mountains. I guarantee that's where they're all coming from, man.
But why is it always the same smell? Like before they get eyes on something, they're like, We're already in the woods, but what smells like rotten death?
I mean, it's
what they're eating, right?
Eating, or they could be coming from underground.
A sulfuric.
No, thank you. I do not condone camping in the middle of nowhere. I camp. I have camped. I prefer like a campsite where there are lots of people doing the camping, not like go with my buddy out into the woods. And why? Why? It makes zero sense to me because that's where they live. And it's probably some kind of reptilian, yeah, living in the cave systems because that's where they're supposed to be living, right? And I don't think if they're in like sulfur, they would smell like pennies, like the copper, right? Like that red liquid stuff that we have inside of our bodies. I don't think it would smell like that if they were in the sulfurs. But yeah, no thanks. No, I'm out.
The ancient astronaut theory. Were ancient civilizations visited by extraterrestrial beings? Look at these incredible ancient structures. Some say they couldn't have been built by humans alone. Ancient art often contains strange symbols and depictions. Could they be evidence of alien contact? Unexplained texts and myths talk about sky gods. What if they weren't just legends? Ancient artifacts with advanced technology or knowledge. Could ancient astronauts have shaped our history?
Yeah, probably. Either they were aliens or they were like another species that was like leaving Mars. We've talked about that, and if I can get that straight in my brain. So the pyramids on Mars are just like the pyramids here, right? So what if they built them there and then they left there because they did bad things to the planet, which is a theory, and then they came here and then they're like, oh, look, these things, let's turn them into other people. And then boom, here we are. Yeah, something like that.
What if Shakespeare was actually 5 different people? Picture this. London, 1589. The world's most famous playwright might have been the greatest conspiracy in literary history. Here's why some think Shakespeare was actually a secret writing collective. First, there's the education problem. Shakespeare's works show intimate knowledge of foreign lands, royal courts, and multiple languages. Yet records show he never traveled outside England and had limited schooling. Then there's the suspicious timeline. Between 1589 and 1613, 37 plays appeared, many releasing simultaneously while requiring extensive research. Could one man really produce this much? The smoking gun? 5 different handwriting styles appear across original manuscripts. Experts noticed distinct patterns in vocabulary and themes between histories, comedies, and tragedies. Some believe a group of noble writers used Shakespeare as a front to avoid social scandal, including Francis Bacon, Edward de Vere, and Christopher Marlowe. What's even more strange is Shakespeare's death caused zero disruption to new play releases, almost as if the real authors kept writing. With all that said, did the greatest writer in history never actually exist? While historical records don't definitively disprove Shakespeare's authorship, the mystery continues to intrigue scholars and conspiracy theorists alike.
Now, that is an interesting theory. I mean, it's not completely unheard of where a collaboration comes together and they go under one title to create a thing or a body of literature. So why not? I mean, it's not impossible. I don't believe that it is true, but I mean, how do we really know?
Imagine this. One of the world's most famous paintings, The Virgin and Child by Leonardo da Vinci, might contain a hidden message. Not just a religious scene, but something much bigger. Some researchers claim that Leonardo embedded the image of an extraterrestrial being within the shadows and shapes of the painting. A creature you can only see if you look very closely, or maybe one that was never meant to be seen at all. Because Leonardo wasn't just an artist, he was a visionary, a thinker, obsessed with the hidden and the mystical. Did he leave behind a secret that's only being uncovered now? And if so, what was he trying to tell us?
I don't think he was trying to tell us anything. I think somebody's got too much time and they're going around with a mirror going, ooh, look at that. Oh, look what happens when you put it there. Because I can take just about anything if I had a mirror, which I wish I did, because I'd be like, ooh, look at that. And it's just something random. I was like looking at my mouse pad and I was like, what if I do like right here and it puts it together and it looks like something crazy? Was Looney Tunes telling us something? Oh my goodness. And it's a little excessive. I do think that there is some kind of message in art from that time, but not that. No, I disagree.
Hey guys, now remember back in 2012 when everyone was saying the world was going to end? What if the world actually ended in 2012 and everything we're living right now isn't real? Sounds wild, right? But stick with me as we dive headfirst into this. Back in 2012, the big talk was all about the Mayan calendar. December 21st, 2012, the day the world was supposed to end. Everyone thought it was just a misunderstanding, that the calendar was marking the end of a cycle, not the end of the world. But what if that wasn't the full story? What if the world did end, but not in the dramatic Hollywood explosion kind of way? What if it just faded? Our physical reality crumbled, but our minds, our consciousness, that survived. And now everything we know is just a simulation, a reconstruction of reality. We're living in this endless loop, like a dream we can't wake up from. Think about it. Time, space, things happening around us. Hasn't it all felt a little off since then? Almost like the rules of the world are glitching. It's like we're stuck in some kind of alternate version of reality. You ever feel that weird sense that things just don't add up? Like events are repeating, or time moves too fast and too slow at the same time? That feeling, like something's not quite right. What if that's because we're living in a post-2012 construct? The world we knew is gone, but our minds keep reliving what's familiar. Maybe that's why we see so many Mandela effects. Those weird moments where people collectively remember things differently. What if those are glitches in this simulation? Little cracks in the system where the past reality and this new version collide. And have you noticed how since 2012, technology and social media exploded? We became more connected digitally, but less connected to the world around us. Could it be that we're not actually experiencing reality anymore? Maybe this whole thing is just a program keeping us busy while we live in a loop. Makes you think, don't it? So what if, since 2012, we've been existing in a constructed version of reality? A world where our minds carry on, but the physical world ended long ago.
Now, I don't hate the simulation theory. I actually am coming to appreciate it a little more as I learn more about it. I'm not sold that we're in a simulation, but there are times where I'm just like, yeah, things are moving too fast or too slow, and it's just irregular, and perhaps it's myself inside of my brain creating this, not that I'm actually living here doing this stuff, that it's just my brain making me think I'm doing the things. But it definitely is an odd feeling, and I can't quite explain it, and that kind of is like, hey, here's a reason. But I'm not just gonna jump on the simulation bandwagon. Not yet, anyway.
You can now buy your Starbucks, Chipotle, and anything on the DoorDash app as a buy now, pay later option. Let's get into it. Klarna, the buy now, pay later app, has officially signed DoorDash as a partner. Customers can opt to split payments into 4 equal interest-free installments or defer them to match their payday schedule. This is for a Chipotle burrito, for some coffee, you name it. People are making memes of it all over the internet. They're saying that this is the epitome of us entering into a recession. Someone even said that they're going to have DoorDash debt collection outside of your door because you missed a payment for Wingstop. Here's an example of a Chipotle receipt that says that the burrito was like $11.50. You could pay $285.75 on Saturday, $285.75 on Tuesday, and this is within multiple months just to pay off a burrito. And one of the funniest memes that I saw was this sketch that said, return this, it violates the queso clause. Do you think that corporate America is going too far when it comes to things like this between Klarna and DoorDash? I feel like they're just trying to capitalize on people who are a little bit more vulnerable, and it could be perceived as doing the wrong thing. What do you guys think?
First of all, I don't think this is a sign of a coming recession because Klarna has been doing this for a while now. They're in like Amazon. You can order from Amazon. We make 4 easy payments. It's been like that for a while. And a lot of grocery stores, when you buy something delivered, they have that option as well. I think it's Instacart. Instacart does that. The fact that they're signing with DoorDash is no surprise at all because they're taking advantage of people not remembering to make those payments. because they say, oh, we don't want to charge you interest. But I think it was like 4 out of 5 users are already paying interest. So not only does that $10 burrito cost you $25 to have it delivered, but it's costing interest now. And they're taking advantage of the younger generations who are already stretched so thin as it is that, making little payments seems like a good thing, but that $4 a month very quickly turns into 40 plus interest.
So you get a sense of the 3D-ness of it. I mean, that is like curved all the way around. Well, look, I'll show you it in detail. And then it walks all the way around here, going around in this curve. I mean, how do you do that in solid granite? That is just something else. See that precision there? We're zooming in a bit now. And then that kind of mixes with that. Oh my God, that is incredible. And then it blends. This is carved out this isn't separate pieces. This is the bedrock. And then it carves with that. Look at that. Look at this. This area here is of extreme interest, which I haven't seen before. I've never seen photos of this part. This is insane. With a beautiful line coming up here. This is incredible. How on earth would you even
I have never seen that before. Is that a real place? Because that is an absolutely magnificent structure. And they'll tell you that it was made with a hammer and chisel, but obviously it was not. But yeah, that was super beautiful. I'm going to have to look into that a little bit more and find out what's going on there.
Soul eradication is the disturbing concept that human souls can be completely removed from existence, erasing not just the person's consciousness, but all traces of their influence throughout time. This theory builds upon Infinite Bodies, One Soul, which proposes that our physical forms are merely vessels for an eternal spiritual essence that truly shapes our impact on reality. Proponents claim that through methods related to urban soul stealing, powerful entities can extract and destroy a soul in its entirety. When combined with fifth-dimensional psychic resonance, the idea that souls emit energy across time itself, this eradication supposedly creates a retroactive void where the person existed physically but left no impression on history or memory. The mechanics of this process allegedly involve exploiting the spirit perception theory, which suggests we experience reality through energetic frequencies rather than objective material existence. By manipulating these frequencies, a soul can supposedly be removed from the cosmic tapestry of existence while leaving the physical body intact. Some conspiracy theorists suggest this explains the phenomenon of NPCs, seemingly functional humans who appear to lack depth, creativity, or coherent worldviews.
Well, that's a trip. I never thought of NPCs in that way, like they've had their soul removed. So when you go to the grocery store and there's like 30 or 40 folks there and they're just lulling about because they don't feel like they're real. Half of the people at the grocery store, I don't think they're real people, but they're just like standing there staring at pasta or something because they've had their souls removed. I don't like the way that sounds. That's scary. Yeah.
I found another musical Mandela effect, and now I'm 100% certain we have shifted timelines. Everybody's got their guilty pleasure music. Mine is Michael Jackson. Check it out. You've been hit by a smooth... What? No! It's always been, you've been struck by a smooth criminal. But the weirdest part about this is, I've been researching the Mandela effects since, like, mid-2019. That's never been on anybody's list. I think I need a nap.
Okay. Yeah, that's definitely, you've been struck by a smooth criminal in my world. Anybody else's timeline have that? Because, Yeah, I had the same reaction he did because I was certain that I've been hit by and then I got struck by a smooth criminal. Huh.
They also presented us with a gift to the people of Earth called the Yellow Book.
Yes.
The Yellow Book was an amazing piece of technology that wasn't really a book. It was maybe, it looked like a book, but really as you opened it, images sprang out of it, holographic images of what you were looking at, and giving you pictures that were of historical significance going back to 2000 BC.
I loved the description of this. And this particular piece of technology, does it exist today? Does the military still have?
Yes, they have it, of course.
And does it show into the future as well, or only the past?
As far as I know, it just discussed the past. But the remarkable thing about the book was that when you held it close to you, it picked up the language that was in your aura.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be so awesome if like one day they're all like, hey, by the way, look what we got. I mean, it'll never happen because it's been like tucked away and hidden and we're not allowed to know our past and things are just swept under the rug all the time because why? I don't know. They're like afraid of us knowing something like our true potential or I don't know what they've done to us over the years. Perhaps. I don't know. Hey, it's time to continue our alien abduction story.
And when they carried me out there and let me down, I saw Calvin. And he was standing on the banks of that river with his arms outstretched like that. And he was going in shock. And the reason I know, I spent 20 months a little over 20 months in combat in Korea War. And I know how men act when they're going in shock. And when I couldn't get up, my legs were still weak, and I was trying to make my way toward him to see if I could help him. And I managed to get up on my feet before I got to him. And I couldn't get him to say anything, just like he was out of it. I shook him, and I even had to slap him to get him where I could talk to him. And I told him, he was screaming, what did they do to us? I tried to assure him that they didn't, I don't think they done us any physical harm, and they had gone, When I got him back where I could talk with him, then we didn't know what to do. I didn't want to tell anybody about it, They call us crazy or nuts, Things like that's just not supposed to happen. But anyway, we talked about it again. And before we got home, we decided that we'd call the sheriff's department and notify them it might be a threat to our country is what I was thinking about. And I could tell they thought we was pulling their leg. Anyhow, they sent 2 deputies over there, where we were, and asked us to follow them to the station. So we followed them to the sheriff's department. And they kept us in there I don't know how long. They had him in one room and me in one room. And then later on, they brought Calvin back in the room with me, and they went out to do something. We didn't know it at that time. But they had a hidden tape recorder. And I think that copy of that tape, I think, is what really finally convinced them that something had happened to us. So Fred Diamond was the sheriff. He's deceased now. And I made him promise me that there'd be no publicity about it. Just try to find out, get it to the proper authorities, whoever they were, We didn't want to get any publicity about it at all. So we left there without assurance that there wouldn't be any publicity. And we got home, and it was almost daylight then. And I had a responsibility at the shipyard. I was a foreman there. And I told my wife, I said, I'm going to work. And we got over there to the shipyard, and I got my people all working in my office and the telephone rang. And it was Fred Diamond. No, the first one I heard, it was from some news reporter in Jackson.
I am on the edge of my seat right now. That is awesome. I would love to hear like the recording of those 2 fellas sitting in the room chatting with each other about what happened. That sounds fantastic. I hope he goes into it. I hope he tells us what they were saying to each other because that sounds incredible. On that note, I'm calling it for today. Thank you so much for sharing your time with me. Please Come on back in a couple of days. We're going to watch some new stuff. I'll say different things, and it's going to be fantastic. Until then, have a wonderful day.